So what do you think this video is going to be about? Okay. If you haven't figured it out, you're not too bright, as far as I'm concerned. AC/DC new album, Power Up, was released worldwide on November the 13th, just this past Friday. And this was recorded in Vancouver during a 6-week session between August and September of 2018. Hee-haw. And throughout 2019 in Los Angeles. Now, things happen, of course. Power Up was produced by Brendan O'Brien and engineered and mixed by Mike Fraser. It's literally the best of the past and the best of the present on an AC/DC record, okay? So the track listing is as follows. Most of you know this by now. If you don't, I don't know what your fucking problem is. You probably don't like the band for whatever reason. Oh, they made the same record 18 times. Yeah, we know. Track number 1 is Realize. 2 is Rejection. 3 is the debut single, Shot in the Dark. Number 4, Through the Mist of Time. Kick When You're Down is number 5. Number 6 is Witch's Spell. Demon Fire is number 7. Wild Reputation number 8. No Man's Land number 9. Number 10 is Systems Down. 11 is Money Shot. And number 12 is Code Red. Now, they've released a bunch of different versions of this record. Now, all I have is essentially the digipack. So here's obviously your front cover, which everybody knows from the video. Your, the title track listing. Now remember, you're probably like, where's it all backwards? Because I'm not shooting it the wrong way. I'm doing this in selfie mode and I don't care. Kind of like, like one of those, many different shots. So of course, as you can see, Brian, Ang, Stevie, Cliff, and Phil. And of course they have the booklet. The CD is in my car. Probably won't be coming out for a while. And of course, your booklet, some pretty decent little pictures. I mean, this is probably like the most graphic I think that I've ever seen AC/DC get in terms of like, booklets. I mean, and there's no lyrics in this at all. A lot of good pictures during the video shoot. Pictures of the boys separate. Perfect open band shot. This should be a poster. It probably is somewhere. In one of the versions. I just went with the CD for now. I mean, I'll probably pick the vinyl up later. I know there's a cassette, but you can only get the cassette in Europe right now, or in the EU. And then, of course, the back side, which is pretty much like the amps, AC/DC just says who's in it. Obviously, Angus on lead guitar, Brian on vocals, Cliff on bass, drums is Phil's on drums, Stevie Young is on rhythm guitar. And then, of course, the other shot. And this is really nice, too. This one is for Mal. With a little candle beside it. And that's, to me, that's just perfect. That's just class. That just shows that, he's gone. We miss him dearly. I know I do. Deeply, that's for damn sure. And I was a little hesitant at this because I had once Mal had died, I was very, on point about them retiring. Because essentially, Mal being gone was kind of like the axe, in my original opinion, of them being done. I'm like, just hang it up now. Because I was thinking, okay, it's basically a parody. Like, Phil was in Insane. Cliff had retired after the Rocket Bus tour. Brian was gone. So it was like you and Stevie. What are you guys going to do? Hire new guys? And then, of course, early to mid 2018, everybody was like, oh, wait a minute. Well, what's this picture of AC/DC and Brian and Phil? I'm like, what? What do you mean? I'm unaware of this happening. And of course, it's a friend of mine's like, yeah, man, this is in Vancouver currently. I'm paying attention. So, of course, things started coming out. I started, of course, Googling like a madman because I'm like, if they're going to bring the original guys back without, and yes, Malcolm wasn't a part of the band, but you also have to remember, too, on the Blow Up Your Video tour, Stevie stood in for one Malcolm. And Phil wasn't back yet. Phil didn't come back until Ballbreaker. I'll get to that later. But yeah, it's basically the band. And really, Stevie's a young, so it doesn't matter. Stevie's basically his uncle in a nutshell. With his playing ability, his playing style, what he's able to do, and this is really his second record with the band, so he could definitely do it. It's not that he can't. But my opinion of this record, it fucking smokes. Okay, guys, sorry, it's been a long weekend, but, sleepyhead, doing this late. Everything about this band is on this record. And you're going to be like, the same old record they've only done 18 times. Fuck off. We know. And of course, I hear all the same comments. Well, the music's easy. They haven't strayed away from anything. Why? And I'm sure some Tool fans were like, oh, you shit on Tool last year. Blah, blah, blah. You obviously didn't read you didn't read my whole post, did you? But that's besides the point. The thing about AC/DC as a whole is they've had a formula since 1974-75. Why fuck with it? It's been going for that long. Don't fuck with it. Okay? Seriously. Don't fuck with it. And they haven't. Brian sounds as good as he has, or better than he did on the last 3 records. The band is tight. Cliff and Phil are just in full swing mode because and I'm gonna state for the record too that Blow Up Your Video, Fly on the Wall, and Flick of the Switch are some of my favorite records. Phil's not on the records, but they hold a special place in my heart because of how they sound. Phil on the drums is AC/DC, as Danny Carey is to Tool, as Tony Iommi is to Black Sabbath, and along with Malcolm and the rest of them. But that's not the point. Phil makes the band swing the correct way. Okay? Like Bill Ward does the Sabbath, basically. To use, I guess to stick with the drummers, since I mentioned Danny Carey. But this record absolutely fucking smokes. And it smokes Black Ice, and it smokes Rock or Bust. By far. Heads are just way above and beyond everybody else. There are some great records that have come out this year, and I'm still waiting on one more, as of right now. And that is 2 more actually. I'm still waiting on Gojira, whenever the fuck they get that done. Because that would be nice. Especially to end 2020. But I'm also waiting for the Killer Be Killed. Especially those songs that Killer Be Killed's put out. Oh my god, they're amazing. Now, that also having been said, I'm gonna go through the tracks and tell you the exact record that they could go on. And I just did another quick listen. And yes, in the last 36 hours, no, 48 hours almost, since it was released, maybe more. I've listened to it about 16 times. It's that good. It's been a long time since I've listened to a whole AC/DC record from front to back. Black Ice was good. There had some quality tracks on there. Rock or Bust, I think there's about 3 tracks on there I can listen to. And the rest is I don't actually own that record. But I might get it anyways and just kind of put it through its paces. Ooh. Sorry, guys. Like I said, it's been a long weekend. And I just finished up vocals for the, well, not vocals, but some dual stuff for one of our tracks. So, realize, right on Fly on the Wall, that the riffs, the tone, the way Brian attacks the vocals, it very much sounds, and you're going to hear tone, vocals, and the guitar work for basically all these songs on these old records. Now, Rejection definitely could sit on Flick the Switch. Shot in the Dark is what I would put kind of a mix between Back in Black and For Those About to Rock. Through the Mist of Time, Powerage or Highway to Hell. Basically, it's almost like they took bits off of both those records, put them into one music-wise, and threw Brian's voice on it. It's just that simple. Kick Me When You're Down, blow up your video. Witch's Spell, blow up your video. Demon Fire easily could go on Ball Breaker because it's got that especially the way Angus picks those riffs. 100%. It sounds very much like Ball Breaker itself, like Ball Breaker, and I think like one or two other tracks. Wild Reputation, Black Ice, easy. Even though it was like only 2 records ago, basically. That's exactly where it would go. That's where I get the most feel from. No Man's Land, I would put that on Razor's Edge. That's got that Razor's Edge kind of vibe like at the start. Systems Down, Fly on the Wall. Money Shot, Fly on the Wall. And Code Red would sit nicely on Black Ice as well. Now, tracks that I find that are not so strong. That would be No Man's Land and Systems Down. Now, that having been said, that does not mean in any way, shape, or form that I don't like these songs. They're just not as strong as some of the others I'm going to mention. But those 2 songs are great songs regardless. I just need to spend a little more time with those ones. Code Red was also... It's a medium pace. It's a medium-sized strength for me, I guess. Realize, Rejection, Witch's Spell, Wild Reputation, they all are around the same area as Code Red, right in that sort of midpoint where it's almost to the point where it could be a great song and almost to the... But it could also go the other way. Now, Shot in the Dark, Through the Mist of Time, and Demon Fire. Those 3 songs are my top off of this record. And really, off of a record that I think already fucking smokes, that just means they're fucking standouts. Once I go back and listen to, the last 5 songs and really put them through their paces, like kind of really over and over and over, that could change. 100%. That really could fucking change. And it's just going to be, I'm going to have to put some more time, and I've got this week coming up, so especially when I get off work and before I go to bed, in the morning. And probably what I'll do is I'll do it in the morning where my ears are fresh and I'll be able to kind of give them a proper listen, like more so than normal. Shot in the Dark is it's just got that. That's obviously the first the title track. Demon Fire being the second single. Now, Demon Fire has just got that old boogie, that old stomp, that old AC/DC. Come on, let's go. Let's do this. Let's get rolling here. Let's kick this day's ass. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how bad you think it's going to be, you put Demon Fire on, that's going to pump you right the fuck up. Kick You When You're Down. Yeah, that's also another stomper, but it's not near. It doesn't have the same kind of stomp as Demon Fire. And actually, Kick You When You're Down is actually also one of those. So 4 of them. Shot in the Dark. That's got that old AC/DC swinging boogie. It's really, really, really hard to defeat what that song is going to do. I mean, you could put that on a greatest hits right now. Right fucking now. You could literally pick and pinpoint, and you could throw Shot in the Dark. Now, one of the other guys in the VC, especially in YouTube land, the the Lizard King is his channel. He went and he did a review of the record, and he loved the record. He said it was an excellent record. His favorite song, and I'm quite inclined to agree with him, in terms of it being the top song, is Through the Mist of Time. Now, because I'm such a big fan of Highway to Hell and such a big fan of Power Up, or Powerage, I really think that also, you could put that on a greatest hits right now, and it would still sound phenomenal. It would sit perfectly. I guess it depends on what other songs you put there. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just think that people need to really listen to this record. And if you can focus on, sorry, there's no edits here. Everything's live. Everything's raw. If you could listen to Shot in the Dark, Through the Mist of Time, Kick You When You're Down, and Demon Fire, when you put them 4 songs on, trust me, you easily could go, yeah, I can put this on even a double record that's the greatest hits right now, 100%. But, at the end of the day, I mean, as soon as I heard Shot in the Dark, I'm like, oh my fuck, they're back. This is perfect. And really, I honestly think that this is gonna. This record's not saving 2020, but what it will do is it'll make 2020 a lot more bearable to a lot of people. And whether you're into, any sort of, into metal or a subgenre of metal, or if you're a hard rock guy, a fan of pop, for instance, I think listening to this record, I think you're gonna enjoy it. I really do. And if you don't, that's, I understand why. I don't get it, I guess, but, it's that 6 and 1 half dozen in the other thing. I mean, this is a 5 out of 5. This is a 10 out of 10, 20 out of 20, 100 out of 100, as far as I'm concerned. And you have to look at this from a standpoint where, and yeah, it may seem like I'm babbling a lot, but I don't have to get into a bio. I don't have to explain who's doing what and how they figured they recorded it. All you got to do is go back and listen to old stuff and compare it to this, and it can all sits nice together. And really, you could take Rock or Bust out of the out of the discography, and I wouldn't be mad. Maybe not Rock the Blues Away or the title track Rock or Bust, because I mean they're probably the 2 songs out of there off that record I love the most. And I'm hoping to see if at some point I can get AC/DC's Rarities, because I think that'd be killer too. But when I do my year-end review, because I'll be doing a year-end review of my top 10 records of 2020, it's going to be really different, and most likely this will be top 2 for sure. It may be number 1. I guess it's going to really depend on that Killer Be Killed record, because if that Killer Be Killed record is 10 times better than the first, that'll be my new top of whatever. So, but anyways, guys, if you must have heard it by now. Obviously, the reviews are coming in fast and furious. The record is that fucking good. As I say, the production is top, because you got Brendan O'Brien, who produced the last couple records. Whether I like Rock or Bust or not, the production on it is fucking stunning. Black Ice, same thing, fucking stunning. And Mike Fraser, he was the engineer and producer for the likes of Razor's Edge and stuff. So yeah, get on it. It's a fucking killer record. You won't regret it. Trust me. As I said, within the first day, I basically had 8 listens in. And then I listened to it about another, 8 or another 9 more times this week. 6 or 7 more times or whatever it was. So, anywho, get this into you. It won't let you down. Trust me. You take it from me, your local AC/DC expert.